Welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am the host, WIZE, and my next guest is a serial entrepreneur, a marketing expert, a keynote speaker with an inspiring track record of success. Welcome to the show, Mitch Carson.
Will, thanks for having me here. This is awesome. We're streaming on a yard. I love it.
Yes, StreamYard, yes. And we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and actually a Roku channel. Shout out to the BS3 network, which we are airing on live right now. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Here in Las Vegas, it's a little chilly outside, but I have no room to complain since you're in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure you're wearing a hoodie. So you
I live in the mountains in Pennsylvania, in the Pocono Mountains. So yes, it is a little chilly.
Okay, well, we're dealing with it. I'm in my t-shirt because I've got a heater, so I'm in good shape.
Yeah. So let's start. Can you share the story of your first business in college and how you achieved a 7-figure exit by 28?
Yes. What happened was I was going to college part-time, needed to work full-time to make income. And it was suggested to start selling because I had no fear. I'd been selling since I was 10 years old as a paper boy, selling people to be part of my route when I sold when I pitched newspapers on their porch. And then it was brought to my attention when I was in college, maybe I could sell t-shirts, hats, and cups and mugs to fraternities and sororities where I was attending school in Southern California. And I thought, okay, I can do that. Started out small, selling to social chairs and those fraternities at University of Southern California. Then I sold to the same over at UCLA, Cal State Northridge, Long Beach State. These were the local universities there in SoCal that all had fraternities. And that seemed to work out well. I learned the business starting small, made relationships, which changed every 6 months. And then slowly but surely, the volume became very good, but it was seasonal. So lesson number one was steady income year round. And then I realized, okay, I was missing out during the summer months because fraternities disband for those 3 months. They either go home or they work or what have you. College basically comes to a screeching halt, as we know in the US. So then I ventured into the TV business and radio business, music business in Hollywood, and started selling to Virgin Records, Capitol Records, EMI Manhattan, all the different record companies, Capitol, and developed a very good, steady year-round business, helping provide promotional items for the radio and TV industry, where they would send to, let's say the radio shows would be encouraged to play the record for Paula Abdul when she came out with her new album called Knockout, which was a boxing glove keychain that we made for them, which people used because it was cute and got sent around. I built this business up very quickly to about $1 million within a few short years, which was a lot going to school. This was a part-time business. Slowly, I started adding salespeople, had a production assistant that helped me. Then I added another salesperson and then another. And then I sold it to one of my key employees who was with me right from the beginning and had exit number one. And then I did, and I sold that business and then went into a different line of work a little bit later. And it was a great experience starting from scratch. This is before fax machines even. Because per his urging, hey, we had to drive down to the mailboxes, et cetera, to send faxes. And that's when the faxes used to go on this thermal paper that would curl up as it went through. And it was a completely different business environment. I'm dating myself, Will. I've just aged myself to this audience.
I've experienced old school fax machines, and I'm a 70s baby, so I remember.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I remember when the internet was AOL and
dial-up.
Dial-up, yes.
Yeah, and they made that sound. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've experienced. I remember how fax machines were. They're not like how they are now. It's completely different now. But yeah, I remember those times. It's in just a short, well, quite a few years, but things have changed significantly from my childhood to where it's at now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a great journey.
Oh yeah,
It-
no,
Here's what's inevitable: gravity and change.
absolutely. So, what motivated you to co-found Planet's Recycling, and how did the sale to Waste Management come about?
We saw an opportunity. I had five partners, all of us together, because it was capital intensive. We had to come up with a lot of money for equipment, trucks, and leases. And in California at this time, we're talking 1989 when we started this business. There was a big initiative about recycling. Everything was pro green, recycle, recycle, recycle. And back then it was cans, glass, and plastic bottles. They would encourage you through financial incentives to bring those products back to a recycling center to get money back, so that you would be paid money. You would have to pay for the redemption on a can of, let's say, 5 cents. And if you brought it back, you got that 5 cents plus the value of the aluminum that was there. So it was a big business with a lot of the homeless and street people who would collect these and bring them into the centers. And we had the centers. We started out with one, then we expanded to multiple. And then in 1993, we had a very good supply of aluminum, plastic, and glass, and did deals with the big paper companies, big plastic companies, big aluminum companies, who then depended on our volume to then go back and create new plastic bottles, new aluminum cans, new glass bottles, all of that. So we were probably the second largest recycler in the state of California. And then we were sought out and purchased in 93. And it became time. It was time, because we were never in it for life. We were in it to make a sale and walk away. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay. So, how did you develop the one-to-many marketing strategy, and why do you think it works so well?
After I was what I found was my passion and skill sets fall in the area of sales and marketing, Will. And I got into selling products on live television. I became involved with inventors and taking their products and getting it produced and then distributed, because a lot of it is involving distribution. And then I started bringing products to Home Shopping Network. From 96 through 98, I was selling products on live TV via Home Shopping Network. And I remember the first time I came on the air, I had 5 million viewers, and it was in the middle of the night. It was so nerve-wracking. Now, all I was doing was looking at a camera, had an earpiece in because I was getting direction from the producer. And for 7 minutes, I spoke nonstop about a bathroom product. Nerve-wracking, because I didn't have a live audience. People would call in because it was live television selling. So consumers would call in and say, I just love your new product. I can't wait to get it. I bought one for every bathroom in the house, and I'm going to give one to my daughter. Though, oh my gosh, it was so motivating, because I'm making one pitch and the potential of 5 million viewers buying the product overwhelmed me. And I realized this light bulb went on that never dimmed from that point forward. Why sell one-to-one when you could sell one-to-many? And it made total sense. And after my involvement with Home Shopping Network came to an end, and it was because I was making more money selling products and services from the live stage in different venues around the US. And then I went international, and it offered me more freedom than having to go and fly to Florida and do these TV segments, which came in frequently. And I was a contract pitchman. When I started selling from the stage, my income went up tremendously, and it allowed me freedom. The idea of selling one-to-one doesn't even enter my mind again after being able to do that. It's like, okay, you can make a pitch to a room full of people, work the same amount of time as you would one-to-one, and then you have a volume of business. It's no different than if you had a product for your Stuck in the Mind podcast, and you're advertising it at the end to all of the listeners and viewers, or the people who are live today, as an example. Then, somebody say, hey, I'm interested, and then you make an appointment and sell them one-to-one. That's a harder way to sell. Will, I can't hear you.
Maybe I should unmute myself. There we go.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge you faced while scaling Impact Products marketing to 10 million in just 3 years?
Employees. By far the biggest challenge is finding good employees, good teammates, because together each achieves more. The great acronym for team. I would absolutely say, when I finally sold the business to Halo Branded Solutions in 2008, I had a good team installed, but it was time for me to sell it because I was going through a divorce, and it was forced upon me to sell the business, or I probably would still be operating it today because I enjoyed it so much. And finding great employees was a challenge. I mean, anybody that has the formula for that, they're worth their weight in gold. So I think that more money was wasted on poor choices, hasty choices, than being terribly scrutinizing and careful about who I choose to work with. And I think that's a truth with, if you talk to most CEOs, would tend to agree. And cash flow. Got to have ample cash, but the right employees matter so much.
Okay. Can you talk about your decision to sell your marketing agency to Halo Branded Solutions and what you learned from that experience?
Yes. It came around because, as I mentioned, I was going through a divorce, and this was part of the settlement. I had to pay her off and move on with my life. And I had the right offer at the right time, and it was made available to me. So I sought them out, or they had sought me out earlier. I said no, and then we came to terms. And the biggest challenge was saying goodbye to people that had been with me for years. That was one of the biggest challenges. Is several people got eliminated because duplication of jobs that they had already had. They're now $1 billion plus business in sales. Back then, they weren't as big. I mean, they were still a couple $100 million in revenues, and I was a smaller purchase for them, or acquisition, but it took over the real estate because I owned the building where they ended up taking out a lease from me. And all of these details to go through the due diligence process was overwhelming. So I would say to anybody, make sure your paperwork is tight. Because if you're ever in the space of wanting to sell your business, and if people have strong business acumen, they're going to require documents that you didn't even think of. It was a lot of work and hair pulling to get it all together. And that wasn't necessarily my strong suit, all the paperwork.
Okay. What inspired you to write The Silent Salesman, and how has the book impacted your career?
Silent Salesman was a compilation of many of the marketing programs I had created with my clients, and the ones that allowed me to use it in my book, all of the marketing strategies, which have made many of my clients millions of dollars. And the importance of a book, I would never downplay the amount of work that that went into creating this book. It took me about 2 years to write because it was old school. I took my time and would stop, take breaks. But what it opened up was opportunities for speaking engagements that were never present before. Because if you talk to any of the big name speakers around the world, they all have at least one book, if not a series of books. Because the belief in myself went through the roof when I became a published author with John Wiley and Sons. Then my book got translated into German, and I made more money and more sales in a language that I didn't even speak. And the exposure became global at that point. My self-confidence went up even higher being a published author. It's commendable when someone becomes an author on Amazon or any of the other platforms. Great, wonderful. But to be published and then see your books in bookstores, man, that was a high. That really felt cool. And I was also in the airport bookstores around the nation. For 2 months, I was scheduled there, and that pumped sales. It was a great feeling. And I would encourage anybody to write a book about their topic because people love stories. And if you've got a rags to riches, fat to fit, going through divorce to now being happy with somebody that is much more suitable for you, people relate to these stories wholesomely. And we're human beings, and we're looking for connection and opportunities that we maybe didn't think were possible. And then we live through the stories of others, Will. My experience dictates that.
Yeah. What do you believe are the most common mistakes entrepreneurs make when scaling their business?
Not enough cash. Number one, not anticipating cash flow correctly or projecting how much cash they'll need. Not hiring the right people. And also, I would say not outsourcing enough. You cannot do it all. If you choose to scale, and sometimes people are fine being a solopreneur, but if you want to be an entrepreneur with scalable growth consistently over years, you're going to need help. And finding the right people to manage specific tasks is of paramount concern. Can't hear you, Will. You're muted again.
How do you help CEOs and business owners identify and harness their personal power?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Say that again.
Okay. How do you, because you help other people scale their business, do you not?
Yes.
So how do you help these business owners identify and harness their personal power so they can scale their business?
They've got to believe in themselves. And a lot of it is perception is reality. Oftentimes I will share with entrepreneurs, your perception is how well you're paid. Your public perception has a direct correlation to the amount of money you can charge, and amount of money people will pay you, and amount of money you feel you deserve. And how do you build up that personal power is by writing books, being on television, being interviewed on multiple podcasts, just like the Stuck in My Mind podcast and many other fine podcast hosts. This validates your knowledge. This validates your skill sets. This makes it global and or at least broadcast that you are an expert. Because what is an expert? Someone that has taken the pain and gone through the pain and time to separate himself or herself from the pack. It's the little bit of extra effort. Who's gone for the A+, the extra credit assignments in school is the one that becomes valedictorian. It's the extra effort. Getting at practice. What did Michael Jordan do and Kobe Bryant do in order to reach, tremendous status in their basketball careers? They arrived early, ended late into practices. They just didn't show up with big egos and gold chains. They showed up early, left late, worked their butts off, and they were superstars, but continued to have that work ethic of doing a little bit more or more than what other people do. extra effort.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to achieve rapid growth in their business?
Plan to succeed. Envision it. Plan it. Implement it. Measure what you've done and what you can improve. No, and I think there was a great quote by Wayne Gretzky, the Hall of Fame hockey player. You'll miss 100% of the shots you never take. No risk, no reward. No pain, no gain. You got to go through the process. You can't think about things. You have to do those things after you've had a good plan.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You have to really take that leap. You got to make yourself uncomfortable. You got to really take the chance. Had I not faced my fears of recording my podcast and releasing, I would have never been able to record as many podcasts as I have. So you have to take that risk. You have to take that leap and believe in yourself.
Well, may I ask you a question? I know you're the host. This may be a little bit out of the box. You just mentioned something I wanted to ask you. You clearly are a pro. You've got a nice microphone. You're using StreamYard. You're streaming to all these live platforms, which is a level above most of the other podcast interviews I do. They're recorded, and then whether they distribute to these other programs, I don't know. Some do, some don't. But you're doing a live show, and you're streaming to all these others. Did you do this right out of episode number 1, or is this something that you learned, Will, over time and started to improve little by little?
I learned this. This is not my field. I started with a little Behringer podcasting studio that I paid $160 for on Amazon. And I started strictly audio. I didn't do video.
Okay.
It was strictly audio. I had to edit. I had to learn how to edit my program, how to do everything, and it's grown. It's you can see the evolution from where I started to where I'm at now, because I wanted to improve. I wanted to invest in quality, invest in myself. So I went and invested in a quality mic. I invested in a proper mixer. I invested in a quality camera. I invested in StreamYard, because I knew that in order for my show to get better, I had to get better. I had to improve. The equipment I used had to improve. It was for me, it made sense.
Well, you took a risk. I mean, this illustrates the point. I bet your skills as a host have improved markedly since episode number 1 to where they are today.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're a relaxed guy. In episode 1, you probably did your best, had a different level. I suspect your face had a little more fear than the confident face that you have today.
Yeah, but with episode 1, I wasn't even on video. It took some time for me to build up the courage to actually. It actually was a guest that I had. It was a husband and wife guest that came on, and they were like, "Do you do video?" And I had made up so many excuses.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not. And they go, and the husband goes, "Okay, so do you do video?" And I'm like, no. And the third time he asked me, I go, yes. And I hit record. And I understood what he was trying to get at. It was another lane, another way,
another level.
It was another way of creating content, not just strictly audio. Now I have video to go with it. So it made sense. And since that day, I've been using StreamYard to record because at first I was just using StreamYard to record the audio. And he realized, like, yo, dude, you got this tool in front of you where you can record video, not just audio. You can record video and use the video as well. And so, yeah, it took me learning and making mistakes and doing different things to get to where I'm at right now.
Now, are all your shows live?
Yes.
So you
Now,
don't have to edit anymore.
no, that's what that was one of the reasons I went live, is because I was tired of editing. I did not want to spend hours editing, and now when I do the show, it's live, and whatever happens. I don't have to edit out. I'm like, hey, it's live. Yeah, I don't.
Well, so you've evolved. So how many shows did you do audio in the beginning? I hope you don't mind me asking a couple of these
No,
questions,
this is a
because
great
it illustrates
conversation.
the point we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Before I went to video, I had probably done close to 100 audio episodes.
And how often did you release them?
At first it was probably once or twice a month. Now I do it every week. Every week I release a new episode. I have so many, and I probably record 3 live. I do 3 live shows a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and prior to that, I was probably recording. I almost burned myself out. I was probably recording audio episodes. I have so many audio episodes around here that I'm gonna release a lost tapes episode type thing, because I have before I went to video, I was probably recording 5-6 times a week audio.
So you do 3 lives a week.
Mhm.
Wow. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
And how many years you've been doing this?
4 years.
Wow. Great. Well, I thought it was an opening. It just shows that you took the risk, went through the discomfort of learning something new. You broke through your comfort zone, Will,
Mhm.
and embracing now. And you also found an efficiency. You don't have to edit animo.
No.
Whatever comes out,
Oh,
and this
yeah.
is organic.
No, I got a system now. I have a system in place where before it was a struggle finding guests. And then Podmatch came along, and they helped me evolve and get some great guests, and everything with time. It was it just took time, and me learning about what I'm doing, and how to basically grow, and YouTube was I went to YouTube University. Uh, that was one of the first places I checked out if I had any questions on equipment, on software. I would go to YouTube and learn about it there.
Wow. So you're self-educated, self-taught,
Mhm.
and here you are, professional. You got a great background. You're using StreamYard as opposed to Riverside. Some other people use that. Some people use Zoom, but StreamYard is your boy.
Yeah, they've come a long way in just the 2 years that I've been using them. Like now, before I would have to play the intro myself prior to the show starting. So now I hit go live, and it plays the intro automatically for me. And now when I hit end stream, I'll play the outro automatically for me. So it's grown. It's so many different features that they've applied to StreamYard. I've seen the growth in it, and it's great to see a platform that I've been using just evolve and make it. I have a production. This is a full lot. It's like a full production studio in the palm of my hand.
Wow. Well, you've convinced me. I've done about 60 recordings. I haven't uploaded yet, and I am thinking about all the editing that has to be done. I'm liking your format, and I've learned a ton from you already. This is a great way to go, where it's one and done. You're
Yeah,
done.
like, I don't. Yeah, and even now, right? Even now, they've added features where you can actually clip do your clips directly on StreamYard.
Oh, like
And
Opus does, or what have you?
yeah,
Meaning little
little small clips and all that. Yeah, I use Minvo personally
okay.
because I went to AppSumo, which is a great website for
Sure, I know it.
and I purchased the lifetime license, and so now I use Minvo to do my clips, and it works for me, and it helps me distribute to all my platforms. I've learned how to automate a lot of things. That's something that I've been able to learn the last couple of years in helping me grow my podcast.
Wow. Awesome, Will. Awesome. Well, I'm anxious to see how this gets reviewed, and I have clients of mine I'd love to refer as guests for your show.
That'd be fine. Yeah.
I've got tons. If you want a bunch of Singaporeans, which is where my market is, I'll have them come and reach out to you.
Yeah. I'm always looking for some great conversation, and yeah, if they want to come on, we can do. So I'm as far as the live shows, I am booked until April. But
Okay.
what I have been doing is, right, I've been giving people the option of doing a pre-recorded show, because I have people that do cancel last minute and then I don't have a guest. So by me having these pre-recorded shows, I'm able to inject them into that spot. So
Smart.
I give people the option of, hey, right now I'm booked for my live shows into April, but if you want to do a pre-recorded show, which we can record earlier, we can record it actually within the next couple of weeks. And I do have cancellations all the time. You actually get bumped up and put into that slot. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I will certainly keep that in mind. And yeah, I've learned a ton from you already today. This is good. Good encouragement.
Thank you. But now we've come to the part where you're gonna get the solo screen and you get to plug away everything you're doing. Actually in the description, I have a link you shared on Podmatch.
Okay.
So they have access to that link. So if you want to promote that or whatever, but it's your time to shine. So
okay, well, what I share with people is where I work today is I'm a publicist here in Las Vegas, Nevada, for speakers, authors, and CEOs, those that want more exposure. I'm a show host on NBC Channel 3 here in Las Vegas. I have a show called The Amazing Authorities where I cover people also on a podcast, and we do this together. And if you want to get covered on live television shows here in Las Vegas, as in network television, ABC, NBC, CBS, and or the CW, reach out to me. I'm at www.getinterviewedguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch. That's where we can set up a consult to go through your media marketing plan and see if you want more exposure. Guaranteed. I'm quite different than any other publicist in America. I guarantee results versus guaranteeing to cash your check and then asking for a contract. There are no contracts. There is a fee to get this all done in 2 days. 2 days. I'll get you on 4 network television shows. And if you're nice to me, I'll get you on a radio show as well. Get interviewed guaranteed. Start with the www.getinterviewedguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch. We'll see you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch, for being a guest. I appreciate you coming on and sharing some great information. I'm looking forward to you recommending people to me.
I got a lot they'll be good guests for you, Will, and I appreciate your input, sharing with me how you've been so successful. And I'm going to reach out to settle or schedule you as a guest on my show if you would grace me.
I would love that.
So we'll do a little reciprocation. I believe in that.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's crazy that you're in Vegas, because I'm a pit boss here in Pennsylvania.
Okay. There you go.
And I'm actually working on launching a new podcast geared around the casinos. It's going to be called Tales from the Pits.
Good.
And I'm gonna have a few people that I know come and tell us some interesting stories about their times and casinos and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to really.
Do you want dealers and things like that?
I want everything. Yeah.
I've got plenty of friends that work in casinos here in Vegas.
Yeah, we can definitely have. It's a new show that I'm working on, and I haven't lined up guests yet. So yeah, definitely, you can definitely.
I'll refer some over to you, Will.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. Don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest.
My pleasure.
All right, everybody. Another great episode is in the can. I greatly appreciate everybody who's tuning in live. If you catch the replay, that's good as well. Please hit the notification, subscribe. Greatly appreciate everybody out there. As always, big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.